Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of the PokerGO podcast. My name is Donnie Peters. His name is Tim Duckworth. We just finished day 4 of the 2025 WSOP Main Event. It is 1:24 a.m. on Thursday, July 10th. I'm still in the main. Let's go, baby. Let's go. I got 835K. Going through to day 5. Feels great. I think there's a little bit more than 500 players left.
522.
Okay.
I think.
I like it. So we'll talk about that, of course. Tim made the money. He did bust, but made the money, made it happen. No, it doesn't matter. You still made it happen. So
I'm so sad.
We'll hit on that. We'll hit on your run. We'll hit on what it means to you. Now, normally this is the WSOP Main Event bubble pod. But you and I were both in on the bubble. Can't leave your seat. Yeah. You're not supposed to walk around, all that sort of stuff. So if you wanted the bubble pod like we've been doing it in years past, I'm sorry, but you're just not going to get it because, but it's for good reason. It's for good reason, right? We were both in, we both cashed. I'm still in, so it's just, that's just how it is. We'll hit on everything main event wise. And then we'll also hit on the other things that are happening around the Horseshoe and Paris. And then Tim's got more community cards, huh?
Just a little sprinkle.
Just a little sprinkle. A little sprinkle. Did you see the tweet from Matt Berkey? We should put it right here. Producer Rich. Producer Rich, put it right here. Like, this is what peak malperformance looks like or something. There's a picture of you.
That's damn right. That is damn right.
Oh, absolutely incredible.
It's a bit of an ego boosting there.
As if his head needed to get any bigger. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're going to need to size up that cowboy hat a couple notches there. But yeah, as always, please like, review, 5 stars, whatever the heck you got to do. Comment, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. As it relates to the podcast, both on all the normal podcast catchers that are out there if you're listening, and then also on the PokerGO YouTube channel. We do greatly appreciate it. And I am telling you guys, it does help us grow. The more that sort of stuff happens, the more the algorithm feeds it to other people. Also, the more that we can go to our bosses and say, hey, look at all this stuff that we have as it relates to the podcast. So hopefully we can keep doing this and do more of it. And maybe, I don't know, maybe we get so much stuff that next year we have like an actual set.
I like our set as it is.
No, I know, but we could still do it a little more. Like, we can make it a little bigger, or we can be like, hey, let's do more giveaways for the fans, stuff like that, right?
That's what we want,
stuff like that. So again, help us with all that sort of stuff, please. If you want to play free online poker, I highly encourage you to go check out Play Poker Go. You can check it out at playpokergo.com. You can also download the game to your iOS device or your Android device. They got ring games, they got tournaments, and they got sit and goes. It's all on playpokergo.com. So grab the app today, iOS or Android, or just go on web to playpokergo.com and start playing for free today. The best thing to do, it is WSOP main event time. It is WSOP time, so it's tournament time. Just check out the tournaments. And they got a 1 million gold free roll every hour on the half hour. It's a lot of fun to play. You get in there, you can battle with fellow PokerGO listeners, audience members, all that sort of stuff. So it's cool. And oftentimes Tim and I are in there. We're working on getting custom avatars for us. So you'll be able to know exactly who it is, even though it says like PokerGO Ducky and PokerGO Donnie. So you should know anyway, but still, custom avatars would be cool. And maybe we'll do some sort of like custom avatar free roll. Like, if you win, you get a custom avatar.
I think we should do a podcast free roll.
Yeah, something like that.
On the regular.
Something like that. I know, but I'm kind of busy right now. So.
No. I'm saying afterwards series. We start something like the first Monday of every month. Something that we can, we don't want to do it every week, but something we could stick to. And make it kind
of... That works for me.
I'll figure out the logistics. You worry about winning the main event, I'll figure out the logistics.
And we'll work with Producer Rich, who goes by Producer Rich on playpokergo.com. So if you want to play with Rich Ryan, he's Producer Rich.
Does he have his own avatar?
Good question. He should.
He should, right? Yeah. Got a little soundboard on the side.
He should.
Adobe Photoshop over here.
He should. He definitely should. But yeah, playpokergo.com. All right. WSOP main event time. Day 4 wraps. 522 remain. Guaranteed, what, 35K?
32,500.
32,500.
You should know that more than I should know that.
Yeah, I didn't know exactly where it ended up
Well, they just made a pay jump.
Yeah, no, I've been kind of sweating the pay jumps.
Yeah.
Not sweating them, but like, making sure that I hit them as best I can.
Yep.
Just kind of maneuvering whenever I need to. So, min cash was worth $15K, and then they've been going up in $2,500 increments from there. Somebody actually made a comment at my table, which I thought was interesting. How did they make all the payouts 0-0? Except for there's two that are like 12th or something, like around 12th, where they end in 250. But other than that, they all end like an even like 0-0 this year. Like literally every single payout. Like, how did they do that?
Is that not possible? Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't know. Is it possible? I don't know if it's possible. I mean, maybe it is possible because it's
9375, right?
What? Yeah. For the entries.
Yeah, it ends in zeros.
Oh, okay.
But it ends in 500.
Oh, okay. Okay, then it works. All right, that makes sense then. What's the rake again?
700.
Okay, got it. Crazy tournament. This freaking thing, absolutely crazy tournament. It really is. So guaranteed 32,500. It looks like Harold Lamb is the current chip leader, or at least one of. I'm going off of Poker News, where they have the assorted end of day chip counts, and they have Harold Lamb up on top with 4,195,000. Jeremy Kotler, I know Jeremy Kotler. He used to play a ton of the WPTs. 3.725 million for him. Julian Mariani, 3.6 million. That rounds out the top three stacks, again, according to Poker News. Other big stacks, we got Nick Papillo, Josh Reichard, Kenny Hallert, Braxton Dunaway. Who else? Michael Mizrachi. Oh my God. Eric Afriat. I played with him for a long time today. Will Kassouf. Oh my gosh. I mean, this is just simply incredible. Who else do we got? Adam Hendricks, bag chips. Anthony Gregg. Tony Gregg.
I saw him today.
Tony Gregg, back from the dead. Oh my God. Romain Luque, of course, he's in there.
Of course.
Romain Luque is 1,000% making the final table.
It's Luque?
I think so.
Okay.
That's what producer Rich sent to us. So I'm going with it.
Got it.
Who else we got? Dennis Strebkoff, Caleb Firth, Bruno Firth.
Two big names from your table. From
who?
Francis Anderson
and
Eric Afriat.
Yeah, well, I already mentioned Eric Afriat, but
okay,
Francis Anderson did bag chips. Arnaud Matern is still in.
God.
Stephen Chidwick is still in. Isaac Haxton, still in. Tom Middleton, still in. Frankie Flowers, still in. Scott Margerson, still in. Krista Macy, still in.
Yep, saw him.
I do this thing that Pads said that he does a couple of years ago. I've talked about it before, but every time under the gun, I play my under the gun hand, and then I stand up from the table. So I stand up every single rotation after I play my under the gun hand. Just that way I know that like I'm getting up. I'm not just sitting all day. I'm getting up. I'm stretching out. I'm getting the blood flowing, all that sort of stuff. And then I think what Pad said is like, kind of like get the blood flowing, center yourself, focus, and then get back in there, sit back down, because then the big blind, the small blind, and the button, the next three hands are generally the hands that you play the most from. Big blind, somebody raises, you defend a lot.
Yep.
Small blind as well, and then button, you're probably going to be opening quite a bit. So yeah, I do that all the time. But what I'm getting at is that when I do that now, I kind of like take a glance around the room, and I like, it's funny because like I see in the chip counts now that these people are in, and I couldn't see them all around the room. So it's just funny to be like, oh, that guy's still in, or oh, that person's still in, or that person's still in. Who else we got? Maxim Pisarenko.
Jeez.
Okay. Lataro Guerra is still in. The
Amazing.
PLO god himself. Does he know you only get 2 cards in this tournament?
I think he's been taking one from the player next to him.
Okay.
One from the other player I'm playing for.
Got it.
The same pot.
Brian Hastings, still in. Greg Merson, still in. Victor Blom.
Wow.
Asher Conniff. Esther Taylor. I saw she bagged chips. Ite.
Lots of chips too.
This is simply incredible. It just really is. All right. Cool. They have me as Donald Peters. They really need to change that. Is Nate Silver still in? I mean, he's in these chip counts. I want to say this guy, Brandon Estrada is still in, who I believe is the son of Eric Estrada.
Okay, can I ask you a stupid question? Who is Eric Estrada?
He was one of the lead actors for the movie or the show Chips.
Okay.
On the,
Next question.
The policeman on the motorcycles.
What is Chips?
The policeman on the motorcycles, California Highway.
Never had
whatever. It's an American thing. It's funny because like I saw this guy, okay, when I was doing my standing up thing. I saw him like
Estrada.
Yeah, he was. Well, I was on like an aisle, and he was on the other side of the aisle, and I saw him standing up, and he looked like a good looking individual. He looked like he was in shape, and I've been doing this long enough that I know if the person is like an athlete or something. Like I can just tell. Like I can just tell by the way he's built, what he's wearing. So I'm like, I have to look this up. So obviously I just see this table and seat. I look it up on the app. Okay, I fire it into Google. Boom, it comes up. He's Eric Estrada's son. So I'm like, yeah, exactly. This makes total sense. Who else is still in?
Wait, this is Estrada. ESTR. Oh, there we go. $500,000.
Yeah. Renee Charles Angelil.
Another famous child.
He's also still in. He's got $2.5 million.
Crushing.
Yeah. So crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Day 5 of the freaking main event, baby. There's what? 5% of the field left?
Yeah.
A little more, 6% of the field left. Unbelievable. What do you want to talk about? Let's talk about you first.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, woke up today, feeling good. I have to get a new hat, so that's why I'm wearing this hat.
Is that your new hat or is that an old hat?
No, I bought a new hat just for today. Straw hat.
Okay.
My plan was, I've had these two very unique looks. I was going to do another unique look today. This T-shirt gifted from Adam Hendricks. Don't know if you guys can really see it, but the cowboy. What's it say on the back?
Where the West has gone.
Yeah. Nice gift. Thank you, Adam. Is Adam Hendricks still in?
Yeah, he's still in. I think he bagged $2 million or over $2 million.
This was a gift from him, and I thought this hat was fitting. And I was like, you know what? If I make a run and I get to day 10, new outfit every day, new cowboy hat, that'd be pretty cool. But okay, that didn't happen. So let's start. Started with 168. I had one of the chip leaders on my left. Second hand of the day. The PokerGO cameras are around me. I got photographers around me. Under the gun, Dong Chen opens, min raise, folds to me in the big blind with pocket queens. For those that are new to the podcast, I bubbled the main event with pocket queens about 18 years ago. So I'm going to say my heart rate was probably 185 beats a minute at that point. Now, I'm still going to play hands. I'm just going to be a bit more cautious.
I can't believe you just didn't put it in.
No, hell no.
Why?
No, I'm not doing it. I need to make the money. Remember,
but like trying to play a hand like on every single street against an aggressive player is probably going to be much more difficult.
No, but I'd rather do that.
But that seems like it'd be much more difficult. How many blinds did you have? What was the action?
168-21.
What was the action?
Open under the gun.
Yeah, you could have just jammed.
I could have, but I'm not going to.
Wait,
anyway,
you opened under the gun?
No, he did.
Yeah, you for sure could have just
called.
Jammed.
We played.
Honestly, I think you should have just jammed.
We played the hand out. I won.
Because like if it just comes ace high and he's just betting like 100%, like you're just in a shitty spot.
Who says I'm folding though?
Okay, if he just triple barrels off, you're not calling on like
different.
a lot of boards.
I had another hand where I had to raise fold tens. The guy made it super large. Then that same guy who was second in chips played a 600K, basically a pot for his whole tournament life against Dong Chen. It's just like, remember how we discussed like these chip leaders is going to war when there's people with like 3 bigs. I was messaging one of our players who had 3 bigs, and like I was like, "You'll be fine."
Who had 3 bigs?
Huh?
Who had 3 bigs?
Natalie Ferguson had 3 bigs in the big blind, right on the hand for hand, and she was like, "Well," I'm like, "You're fine."
Did she make the
blinds.
money?
She made it.
Yeah,
Fold the blinds, fold the small. You still have half of it. You'll make it, no problems. Anyway, had tens, raise folded, that one probably, and then I had kings, raise on the bubble, on the direct bubble, got that through. And then Jeffrey Platt, loyal listener of the PokerGO podcast, decides to interview me. No warning. I thought it'd be like, hey, can we interview you after this hand? I would have said, sure, no problems. But instead, he just randomly walks up, goes, hey, you got a second? I was like, sure, yeah, okay. And I think I did pretty well in that interview. I don't know if you had a chance to listen, but we can play it.
Yeah, no, it was good.
We can play it now for the people.
Sure.
Yeah. All right,
Let's go
Producer
ahead.
Rich, do you think?
Okay, out here in the field, 3 away from the money. Let's talk to, let's see, 522, 530. 532 would be good. Why not stop here?
Okay.
And then why not talk to this guy? Excuse me, sir. Just if you have a quick sec, if you could stand up for me, please.
Commish.
This is Tim Duckworth. He's the commissioner of the PGT. He hosts the PokerGo podcast. And 18 years ago, this man was the bubble at the main. What do you remember about that?
There's a lot of pain. It was a brutal way. I got slow rolled to bust, so it was pretty brutal. A 21-year-old little kid from Australia, but hey, that led to me being in this industry. So no real complaints. You know, something to learn from PokerWise, but I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that bubble, I would say.
How do you compare playing in that main to playing in this main?
I was very nervous back then, obviously. You know, I was a 1-2 no limit hold'em player back in Australia. This, I feel pretty calm, you know, like I've been in poker so long, 18 years now, that although this is like the greatest tournament in the world, it is cool to finally be part of it, but otherwise it feels like, you know, the South Point Nightly that I'm used to playing every other day.
I was going to ask, how many poker tournaments do you think you've played in the last year or so, and what's the highest buy-in out of those tournaments?
I would say my average buy-in is probably $300. Yeah. I've probably played 13 events in the last 18 months. I don't play that much, like working, you know, for PokerGo and all these fine people in the back. You're around poker so much that the last thing you really want to do is just jump back into it. You want to be with your friends, be with your family, doing other things. So yeah, I don't play that much, and I'm okay with that.
You busted Mikita Badziakuski the other day. What's it like to take out one of the top players in the world? Forget how he did it, if he got lucky or not. Details don't matter.
I did get lucky. I was a bit of a misread. You know, to be honest, it was the experience playing with someone that I've covered for years was pretty cool. I'm not saying I know him super well, but like just being around these guys in the studio or around the world, it feels like you learn how they play a little bit more. So I actually felt more comfortable playing against Mikita than some of the other people at the table. So it was pretty cool to bust him out, a little feather in my cap, but that I'll take home.
I want to ask you about two people. The first is your co-host on the PokerGo podcast. Donnie Peters is also still in. You two, you play during the day, you record the podcast at night, you sleep for a little bit, you wake up and get back at it. What's it like to have both of you making this run?
It's pretty special. You know, like you said, we're recording at 2 a.m. every night, getting home at 3 a.m., getting a little bit of sleep. It's cool that we're both in. It's cool that we can bounce hands back and forth. It's cool that he can insult me and how bad I play. But it's pretty special. Like, you know, just like me, he doesn't play that much. And for us to make a run in, like I said, the best tournament in the world, that's just pretty cool, yeah.
Second person I want to ask you about, he's in the booth with Brent Hanks right now. His name is Jeremy Becker.
Yeah.
He had some choice words for you on a live stream. How did you respond?
I was just watching the live stream. Look, he's not wrong. I dress fantastic. I play horrible, and I'm okay with that. I played with him. He's much better than me. I'm not studied. I'm just doing my thing. I'm out here playing the way I want to play. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But at the end of the day, I'm having a lot of fun. Hopefully, I can at least fade a few more players, make a little bit of money, and just keep laddering up. That's all I can hope for.
I think you look fantastic, by the way. I'll find Donnie next, chat with him. Thank you for the time, guys.
I thought you did well in that interview. Yeah. I would say we could also play my interview, but the audio kind of went in and out because the mic was broken.
It's because you're so far away. I think that once you get to that side of the room, it starts dying.
Okay, are we PokerGo or are we not PokerGo?
I don't
Figure
know
it out. We should be able to do it from literally anywhere between Horseshoe and Paris. We should be able to do everything we want to do.
I agree.
I don't understand.
After that interview, obviously we made the money. We saw that triple bust, the triple knockout on the bubble.
Should we talk about my? Because we're talking.
I'll go through. I'm really finished. Let me run through mine, then we'll go back.
Okay.
So I hit a ladder 17.5, first break 130K, so a bit of a down. Had another hand where I felt like I could have doubled, where I 3-bet shoved the ace king, no ace 9 folded, king queen folded, so that was kind of annoying. And then we were about 60 off the next ladder, and I had the 12 bigs, and I was like, okay, I wonder if I can make this. Kept slowly ticking down. It got to 1 off the pay jump, and the under the gun opens 2 bigs, and I had pocket jacks on the button. And the clock where I'm sitting, I'm playing like this. The clock is like through this side of my glasses. So it looks like I'm looking straight, but my eye is on this clock, just waiting to see it go down once so we make it a $2,500 pay jump. It goes down. I was not folding anyway, but I'm all in. Pocket. Otherwise, I was going to do the whole raise everything but one chip thing.
I would have done that anyway. just to make sure I hit the pay jump.
No, I saw it, and then I did
always liked it to go to even one below.
More?
Just for I don't want no shenanigans here.
Yeah,
Okay?
no, that's fair. That's fair. Got it all in. I had pocket jacks, 10 bigs. He had pocket aces, so did not want to see that hand. Pretty clean board for him. I'm out 1,006th place. I got 20K. Ended up moving up quite a few spots, so I guess they were a little behind in the busting people. But all in all, it kind of said in the interview, I had a lot of fun. It was pretty good to kind of get back in the main event after 18 years. And although I was sad for a little bit, I was like, back to work. And I'm kind of already looking forward to next year. I think it's something that, I know once you played your first one, you were like, I'm playing it every year. Yeah. And now that I finally
you're going to max late.
Done again. I'm going to max late. And some people, I had one of our coworkers say, oh, 10K profit. Not bad for 4 days work. And I go, I barely played 2 because I late registered day 2, I played day 3.
I was thinking of that today. I was like, it was so much easier for him to get to the money than me.
Yeah, you had to enjoy a whole extra day and a half that I didn't play. So my ROI is significantly higher. Only difference I would probably do is maybe register max late on day 2 ABC, so I get that extra day off. That seems to make the most sense.
The day offs, I'm telling you guys, if you think about playing this sort of thing, I don't care if you're new or if you're a pro, play one of the first 3 day ones.
Yeah.
Take day 1D off. Then you play day 2 ABC.
Yeah.
If you advance, then you have day 2D off.
Yeah.
It helps so much. It helps. I can't imagine playing just like basically straight through. Yeah, I know if you play 1D, you still got that next day off. But still, I think you should just get max days off. So play the earlier ones. And honestly, next year I might play day 1A. And then just get the max days off. Yeah.
Well, why don't you do what I do? You don't want to max late?
No, I don't want to max late. I want to get in there early, play some pots, maybe catch some punts, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. But no, I had a lot of fun, and I think the one thing I've kind of that is different from this year versus 18 years ago was just kind of valuing my chips in a way. And what I mean is that there was times on day yesterday where I was down to 6.5, 7 bigs, and it's you don't need to give up. This is you obviously getting down to that point kind of sucks, but if you lose a big hand and it happens, but you don't need to just, this ain't the South Point nightly. You don't need to just throw it away. So all in all, I had a fun time. Wish I kind of still in like you, but hey, I'll take 20K cash. And I want to touch on, before we throw it to you, for the loyal listeners, they may remember I had 3 poker goals at the start of the year. We both set some poker goals. We've set some fitness goals. I think we set a few other things.
I don't even remember what my poker goals were.
I can remember it, and I'll tell you why. Because I said on the podcast I could knock it off in one event, which was the WSOP Main Event. My goals were play the WSOP Main Event. That's the easiest goal because that just requires, paying 10K. Here you go. Second one was have 20K in earnings. We don't play that much. I hadn't hit 20K for quite a while, so I thought that's a good goal to strive for. I had 9K in earnings coming into this event from the Venetian at Champions Club in Texas, so this takes me to 29K. So that's ticked. And then my third one sounds a little silly, and it's also the hardest, was cash in a WSOP event. Like I said, don't play that much, especially at the WSOP. It's obviously harder to cash than just play an event. And it's been a while since I had, I think I had a really cold streak of 18 in a row. But so I ticked all 3 poker goals for the year off in this one event. So now I need to probably set some new ones. I haven't really thought of them yet, but maybe another time we will. So that's it. That's my main event. I'll be back next year, day 2, ABC, max late, probably in another cowboy hat. But let's talk about you, because you're still in.
I love it. Yeah, I am still in. I got 835K going through. We're still going to be playing the 10K, 20K, 20K level. So I'll have almost 42 bigs. We got another hour left of this level. We ended up playing what was 4.5 levels today due to the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
My day started outrageously. I get to the table, and so let me actually go back to the night prior. We get our table draw, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm the chip leader at my table with 250K. And now Francis Anderson was at the table, and he had, I think, 245 or 240. So he was pretty close to me, but everyone else was pretty short, and there was like 4 or 5 stacks below 100K or whatever. So it was certainly interesting. We get there, we start playing, and immediately all the short stacks start tanking. Francis Anderson starts losing his mind. Like screaming clock at the top of his lungs, calling the floor, like all this sort of stuff. The whole table is getting mad at Francis. I'm kind of just trying to stay out of it. Now, for me and Francis combined, it benefits us to play faster because we have the most chips. So it benefits us to play faster, and the pressure's on those other guys. The blinds go around faster, all that sort of stuff. Of course, for them, it benefits them to tank and play slower. I get it, right? Now, I know a lot was made of Francis yelling clock and making the whole ordeal of the whole thing and constantly calling the floor over and all that sort of stuff. But I'm sure there were other tables in that room that were doing egregious tanking as well.
Our table was really bad.
Yeah, exactly. But like you didn't have Francis Anderson on, who's just going nuts. So eventually the floor gets called, I think 3 times because Francis is yelling about it over. And then the floor just like jumps to, first they jumped in the same thing. They said like, you only get 10 seconds to act. And then Francis like kept like complaining about it. And so the floor was like, you just get 5 seconds to act.
To everyone,
which is like absurd because there was 4, I think 4 people that were tanking. I was not tanking. The guy next to me, who was maybe the shortest person at the table, was not tanking, although he should have been, but he wasn't, and then the guy next to him was also not tanking, but like it was weird that the floor came over and just listened to whatever Francis said. Like Francis was complaining, so the floor was like, you all get 5 seconds. And it was like, okay, but like I feel like could have been like the adult in the room because it was one of those things where I think like everyone was kind of acting like an idiot.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be like, okay, listen, he's being ridiculous calling the clock. Like literally as soon as it got to a person, he'd be like, clock, 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 yelling like nonstop. Like literally as soon as it touched someone's hand. And then of course, like people are taking a little bit longer because they're trying to think, and he's just yelling clock and calling the floor. So it's like, dude, you have to like let these people actually think for 2 seconds. And then Francis would be like, you guys are all good poker players. You made it to day 4 of the main event. You know what you're doing pre-flop. He kept saying that. I was like,
I had one guy tanking in the 9 seat. He would pull his cards in front of his chips. Then he would grab one, slide it all the way around this side, look at it, slide it back, get the other card, slide it here, look at it, slide it back. Like everyone had their own little art to like stalling, and like I just noticed that guy. And then here's the funny thing: we make the money, and it's just look, raise. Like he just like
of course. Well, even once we got to hand for hand play, which we started, I think 6 players off the money. We came back to the day with 15, and that's when all the commotion was happening. And like they kept coming over. It was a whole effing thing over there at our table. Like, did you hear like the commotion?
I didn't know that was your table.
Yeah, so it was my table. It was all Francis, like going crazy. And of course, then Francis being the way that he was about the whole thing, people are getting mad at him. So then they're actually tanking to piss him off. It was like it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. So Francis like, every hand is taking 5 minutes. Francis, who cares? Okay, it's the WSOP Main Event bubble. This is what happens. Who gives a shit? If somebody is egregiously tanking, then fine. Okay, we get it. But like he was literally just like, as soon as it hit someone, he'd be like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, clock, clock, clock. It's like, dude.
Our table was pretty bad. I texted, like I said, I have a group chat with the floors, and I was like, when are we starting hand for hand? This is outrageous. When we finally went hand for hand, the first hand of hand for hand play, I was under the gun, and the other cards like, are we hand for hand now? I said like out loud, and everyone's like, yeah. Looked at my and I just like snapped through them in. I was trying to like set like, okay, we can now like play properly.
I definitely think with the app and the way that it allows for the efficient tracking of the field size, I feel like we can get down to like pretty close to the money bubble and then go hand for hand.
Yep.
So I almost feel like they should have probably just started hand for hand at 15 with 15 back. I know that's like a long time, but the tanking was outrageous.
Yeah.
I mean, we also just need clocks. I mean, really.
Yeah, I mean, like we've talked about, there's a world where, if we were in charge for the day, we might institute clocks in the main event. And day 4 would be the perfect time, right? You could just, from the start of play, the clock's in play. We're talking what? 50... No, wait. What?
Yeah,
150 like clocks we need. But like with the iPad that's already on the table, the tablet, we should be able to do.
Well, there's a clock on there because like when the floor came to my table, he pressed a couple buttons and the clock popped
up. But
it's
not the shot clock that they use in high rollers. They use the iPad app that we use in the studio.
But I think that's definitely the next evolution of the app for next summer, right? Like adding all the app on every single table should just have a shot clock.
Well, that'd be a big evolution for the main event, though.
Why?
Well,
started on day 4.
I guess you could say we never had the big blind ante until 5 years ago. So why can't we have the?
I think nowadays there are enough tournaments around the world that have clocks that I would say the large majority of people have played with them and are familiar with them. So they should. It shouldn't just be like, oh, what the heck is this? You know? And I've played in some events, shout out to the WPT World Championship, where they add the clocks in, or the WPT Prime Championship, where they add the clocks in. Yep. And there for sure have been people at the table who have never played with the clock, but they quickly figure it out. I mean, like it's not that complicated to figure out that you have, 20 seconds or 30 seconds or whatever it is, So I don't know. I think that's a thing. Anyway, so we end up getting hand for hand, then everything speeds up at our table. Fine. We get into the money. Great. First break, I'm at 373,000. I actually have no idea how I got there now that I think about it. Once again, I did not write down any hands. I was just trying to be as present as I could at the table and pay attention as much as possible. But yeah, I got up to 373. Then I got up to 572 at the next break. Let me see if I messaged any of these hands. Can't look there. 370. Yeah, I think the first break, like I just won some hands. Oh, I busted a guy with. He had. Let me think of this. How this went. I busted one guy with 7s when it went button raised. I flatted the 7s in the small blind. The big blind jammed like king 6 off, which is very weird.
Well played.
Button folded. I called. I held there. I busted another short stack when he was all in for like 2.5 big blinds. I called blind out of the big blind with 10-7 off, and he had pocket 3s. I won that. So anyway, first break had 373. Second break got up to 572. So was going through that break. I got through 2 big bluffs in that level. But board textures just I think favored my range in the hand. So I went for it on the river and it worked out. So that was good. And that allowed me to get up to 572. And then I lost a huge hand before dinner against Bob Buckenmeyer. He opens. I flat button with 10s. I think the big blind called as well. Yep. It comes king 10 9. Big blind checks. Bob bets 35. I make it 90. Guy folds. Bob goes all in. I call. He was all in for 270. I don't know. He goes all in. I call. He's got queen jack, flop to straight. I bricked out. So I'm left with 189K, and I go to dinner with 170K. And then we come back from dinner. I was going to have 11 big blinds, 11 and change big blinds. So had some work to do there. Got a bunch of jams through. At the dinner break, I put the PokerGO podcast hat on. I was wearing a different hat all day. I said, you know what? If there's a time to change, it's now. Okay? If there's a time to change, it's now. So put the hat on. I go back. I shoved, I think, 4 hands that all got through. And then I wake up with kings under the gun off 16, like 16 and a half big blinds. I min raise. 3 people call, and I'm just like,
Just what you want.
I'm like, can somebody fucking raise, please? Just make this easy for me. Because I'm like, I'm going to go 5 ways to this flop out of position with kings. Like, it's just going to be a nightmare to play. But I mean, it wouldn't have been the worst because my SPR would have been super low. So whatever, the money probably just would have went in. But the table chip leader decided to raise. Great. I made it. This was at 10K, 15K. I made it 30K. Call. Guy makes it 100K. I'm like loving it. Gets back to me. I go all in for 250. He ends up calling with ace queen. Boom, king on the flop. We hold from there. So let's go. So I had that. So that with all the, with my money and then all the calls and everything, that got me up over 600,000, which was good. And then at the final break, I had 525. Kind of had a little bit of up and down level. Got down to like 400, got back up close to 600, ended that level with 525. And then they tell us, not they. Bob Buckenmeyer tells us. He says, "Oh, we're going to the feature." So that my table I'm on my table. Francis Anderson is still there. We're the only 2 people left from the start of the day. Bob Buckenmeyer joins. He's plays a whole bunch of stuff, plays a lot of WPTs, all that sort of stuff. Eric Offriat's at the table, and this guy Fabrice Bijot, very good French player, very good crusher. He's at the table. So yeah, and he's got a lot of chips. He played some wild freaking hands today. Wild, like there was this one hand where this Asian guy went for it on this insane bluff, and Fabrice called him with 2 pair, and it was an incredible call. But anyway, so Bob Buckenmeyer is like, "Oh, we're going to the feature," like out of nowhere with like 20 minutes left in the level, and they had announced that we're only going to play half of the last level due to the length of the bubble. So Francis looks at me and he's like, "Oh, we're going to the feature," and I'm like, "I don't know that." And Bob's like, "Yeah, my friends are texting me." So they must have said something on air.
Yeah.
Because then I texted someone and they were like, "Yes, we're moving you guys to the feature," and I said, "Okay." So then literally right after that, the production crew comes and they do the whole thing. Like, here are the bio sheets for you guys. Here's this, there's that, whatever. You're going to the feature. So we're going up to the feature, which I didn't really want to do, but whatever. We go up to the feature. On the feature, I took 525K up there. I 3-bet jammed pocket 9s, and it turns out the guy folded ace queen suited, which seems like an incredibly tight fold, but he folded it. So there's that.
What? Bigot hat?
Frenchie just got me.
Donnie Peters now. 2 red 9s. Facing an open from Tenorio.
Donnie off of 24 big blinds. Curious how he proceeds here.
All in.
He's going to play for all of it.
Donnie. Did you think this was coming?
It was either call or the whole pile.
I would assume we're getting action here, right? This would be a pretty tight laydown here by Tenorio.
Maybe. I mean, Tenorio, we don't even have a picture. We know nothing really about Tenorio.
I mean, the guy's got over 100 big blinds in the main event here.
He's got plenty of chips to be able to make this call.
554 left. He has a really good hand.
My assumption is that Donnie's image is quite tight.
I think the only hand you really need to worry about here to be in bad shape would be ace-king offsuit. Wonder what Donnie does with... Yeah, I think this is... I'd be surprised if he got away from this hand here. Maybe Donnie, from playing with him, thinks that Tenorio is just on the tighter side and is going to call off a little bit tighter. Not too sure. You never know how these players get their chips.
Well,
I mean,
I'll tell you this. We have zero information, you and I in the booth, on Tenorio. I don't know if he was just recently added to this table, but he will let a monster go. Ace-queen suited. Donnie is
when Donnie watches this back, he's going to be surprised that that hand folded for sure.
I was a little bit indifferent on what to do with the nines there. I shoved 26 bigs, and I mean, I probably could have called. I mean, I'm for sure never folding, of course. I probably could have called, probably could have raised, and I probably could have jammed. Maybe not jam. I don't know. But I kind of just was like, you know what? I'm just going to put it in, and if he wants to run it, fine. I'd rather just, realize my equity, not have to like deal with overcards and whatever and blah, blah, blah. Plus, this guy was new to the table, which I think they mentioned on the broadcast because I saw it afterwards that like maybe I thought that guy was tight. It was like his second hand at the table. He came like after we had already been up there. But I will say that he was on day 3, he was at a table like right next to mine, and he was like causing a lot of commotion, and it seemed like he for sure was not a recreational player. Or sorry, was not a professional player. Now I could have that wrong, but that's just my read from literally the stuff that was happening at the other table. Like he was arguing with people, like all this sort of stuff. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I can just, get him to fold some hands. So I'm just gonna go with it. And let's just go. So I put it in, and he tanked for a little while, and he folded. Let me see what this says. I'm trying to look this up right now. Classic. We are, how many are left? 5%? No, let's do 10%. There. I don't even remember what position he was in. +2, I think. Raise. Yeah, 9s is a raise. So, but
not a shove.
Not a shove. And I just went for it. I wonder if let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. This is the lovely part of radio where I'm clicking through a solver. Let's go here. Yeah. So that was a mistake. But whatever. I guess I won the hand, so I'm not going to complain too much about it. But I do think that was not my best course of action now that I look at it quickly. But I'm just quickly looking at it, not maybe things aren't that specific. But yeah, tight fold by him to fold that ace queen suited, which he told me at the end of the day that he folded that anyway. I didn't need to see it on the broadcast. He told me after we bagged because he asked me what I had. So yeah. Then same guy raised cutoff. I flatted in the small blind with queen jack suited. It came queen 4 3 with 2 hearts. Queen of hearts, 4 hearts, 3 of whatever. I'm pretty sure that was the board. I checked. He bet. I called. Turn was a black 7. I checked. He bet again. I called. River was another 7. Flush draw does not come in. I checked. And I thought he was going to put me in.
With top pair, Tenorio missed his flush and is...
What?
Is Donnie in a situation where...
Has Donnie locked up his biggest career cash right now? His biggest cash says 19.9 on the sheet.
Yeah, I believe so. And Tenorio's going to go for it. Donnie's got a bluff catcher. I can't fathom him folding a queen. Tenorio opened 40K. Donnie flatted 30K out of the small blind. 35K from Tenorio. Peters calls. Turn 7. Donnie checks. Tenorio bets 115. Donnie calls. Now here we are on the river. Tenorio firing a third shell, 165,000. Putting Donnie Peters to the test. If he folds top pair, he will never hear the end of it from any of us here at PokerGo. His podcast fans will be ripping him to shreds. And all this being said, jokes aside, what a massive spot. Great call by Donnie Peters. Huge pot. Nearly a double up as played, and he's going to shoot it up to more than 900,000.
Wow, versus B40, this is a nice throw.
Oh, my.
I was like very confused why he bet so small. Because I was like, okay, if I'm going to check and maybe he checks back, cool, and I just get the pot. But I'm going to check if he's going to bet, like, he might just put me in, like, with everything. You know,
Mhm.
his value hands, his bluffs, whatever. And then he went with that small sizing, and I was like so confused for a second. I was like, well, what the hell is this fucking sizing? I was like, okay, well, I'm not folding, especially for this sizing. At least with this sizing, if I call and I'm wrong, then, you know, I'm not out. You know,
Mhm.
it would have been. I'm pretty sure that I had made my mind up that, you know, I'm calling clean rivers.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to fold if he went all in, but I would have just probably thought about it. You know, of course. I mean, I thought about it like this, but I was thrown for a little bit of a loop that he went with the small sizing. So then I just kind of had to like replay in my mind, not the hand necessarily. I was replaying the stuff that happened on day 3 at the other table behind us involving him. And I was just trying to make sure that me thinking that he might not be like a professional player. And listen, maybe he is a professional player and I'm just completely off on this. But like my read on like his antics and mannerisms and the stuff that he was getting into with some people at the table made it think like he doesn't do this for a living.
Mhm.
So I was just kind of trying to make sure that I was confirmed on that in my mind, because the sizing was really weird. And I didn't think that this should be a sizing. So I was just like, you know, okay, I'm confident that that's my read on him. So yes, I'm calling for sure. Okay, fine. So I called. You know, it probably took me a minute or whatever to think about it, but I called. And I was also like, if this guy rolls over like 10-7 of hearts and like backed into trip sevens, I'm just gonna punch myself in the face. He had 10-6 of hearts,
It's close.
and yeah, there was that. So nice bluff catch there. And then of course, you know, I'm like, if I just run into it and he just has like 2 kings somehow, or he has ace queen or whatever the heck, then I mean, so be it. So be it, right? So so that allowed me, with that pot, I got up to over 900. And then I raised ace 10 off. Eric Afriak called in position. He was on the button. It came ace high, but all clubs. Check, check. Turn was another club. I checked. He bet. I called here. River was whatever. I checked. He bet, and I folded. He showed me the king of clubs, so he turned the nut flush. I made one play that, if I didn't care about always being transparent, I could easily not say that I did this, but I'm going to say that I did it because I think a lot of times I get on your ass about being like ridiculously tight, but I did something that I feel like is like tight as all hell.
Oh, here we go. This is going to be great. I'm listening.
So I got a couple of, sorry, let me think. I lost the big pot against Bob Buckenmeyer, and I was down in chips, and I think I had 14 bigs. Yeah, I had 14 and a half bigs when this hand happened. Bob Buckenmeyer raised under the gun,
Mm-hmm.
and it folds to me in the low jack with 14 bigs and ace jack suited. And I just folded my hand. I mean, I thought about it for like probably
I
too
don't think
long.
it's that bad.
And my thinking was like, listen, it's completely exploitative in that I had not seen Bob Buckenmeyer show up with like he like literally had the best hands all the time. Like he had kings, he had this, he had that. He did get his money in when he was much shorter earlier with the king jack suited. But like, I mean, it was just, you know, the button raised, he jammed big blind. Like I get it. But like him opening early position, I feel like this guy is just so nutted.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a stupid spot. So I was like, I'm not happy folding. I'm not going to be happy jamming if he fucking calls me with, you know, 2 kings. I'm going to be so tilted at myself that like I knew in my mind, this player raising from under the gun is like so insanely strong. It's out of control.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah.
I think it's fine.
And like, then later on, something that kind of gave me further reassurance was that I played a hand where I opened ace 9 of clubs from early position +2. Or sorry, no, I was under the gun. Bob calls the button, and the big blind calls. It comes queen, queen, queen,
Mm-hmm.
which I think trip boards like this are always much better for my range. So big blind checks. I bet. Bob calls. Or sorry, Bob raises. I bet 20K. He makes it 50K. Small raise. Okay, fine. Big blind folds. Now I call. And the reason why I call is I know that breaks the mold of thinking he's so incredibly tight that I should probably just fold there. But I mean, he for sure has a lot of pairs here, but like maybe it's a pair of 8s and I can hit a 9. I can at least hit an ace for sure. The price is really good, so whatever. I'm calling. So I call. Turn is a 5. It goes check, check, and then river's a 5, and it goes check, check, and he has 2 10s. He goes, look at Tim's face. He goes, oh, I missed a bet. Yeah, no shit, you missed a bet. But like
7 bets.
But like that made me think like, okay, like he is like very tight. Like this is, So anyway, I mean, I was not calling the river, by the way, even though there was a full house on board, because So that was a very tight fold that I made with the ace jack suited. And hey, maybe I was wrong, but I felt like the hands that he raises under the gun that I'm actually like ahead of or in good shape are like so small in the grand scheme of the hands that he's raising. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna make a stupid fold and I'm gonna fold this. I'm gonna pretend that I didn't even see this hand. So anyway, but I end up going on to bag 835K. So that's all in the past, and the only thing that I can worry about now is playing the next hand as best as
keep putting chips in the bag. That's all we keep saying that. So
but I don't even care about that. It's just I just want to play the next hand as good as I can, and then just hopefully I can keep doing that over and over again, compound those hands, and keep on going. Something else that I want to talk about, again, in an effort of being fully transparent, I feel so weird. I definitely felt on the end of day 3. And I think it was because I was doing quite well, but then my table got very hard very quickly. A bunch of people busted. And the seats were filled by some very good players with a ton of chips, and I wasn't able to really do anything or function. So I was feeling a little bit more pressure on me in that moment, especially because we were closing the end of the day. So then today, we're on the bubble, and like I'm coming into today, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting how I maneuvered the bubble, because it's either going to be me or Francis that are being like the table captains, right? And Francis definitely assumed that role, so I just kind of sat back. But then so I wasn't really nervous about getting into the money. I obviously could have maneuvered my way. But I raised folded one time during the whole bubble situation. I opened King 9 suited, short stack jammed on me for 100K, whatever I folded. But that was it. There was another time during hand for hand play where I opened and Francis tanked for a while. I opened King Jack suited, Francis tanked for a while, and then folded. And everyone else folded too, but that was it. So, but then like now, I don't know, like part of me says the best way to describe it is I kind of just feel like dead inside. Like I'm obviously super amped up that I'm in it, but like I'm amped up now. Okay, I'm amped up right now, and I'm going to be amped up like in my car ride home, and I'm going to be amped up probably tomorrow morning. But like when I'm actually at the table is what I'm talking about. I don't know. I just feel like it's just another regular old poker tournament, which is, I guess, is a good thing to feel like.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like I'm not worried about like going bust or like, whatever. Like I'm not, I don't know. I just feel fine about everything.
I felt the same way.
So
I don't know what that means. Does that mean we're dead inside, or are we just?
I mean,
Are we just too withered?
We might partly be dead inside. We might definitely be withered.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like that. Like, I'm not like freaking out and like sweating, and my pulse is beating out of my neck at the table. Like, I feel fine. So, so that's a good thing. I had some really good table draws today, or yesterday, I should say, on day 4. It got a little bit tougher towards the end with the addition of Eric Afriat, and Fabrice Bijot was playing really well. So yeah, but other than that, I thought it was pretty good. I do not recognize, I think, anyone at my table for day 5.
That's good.
So yes, that's good, but that also might be bad, right? Like I do kind of feel like you, where when it's somebody sits down and I know that they're like, I know who they are and what they do.
Mhm.
I know how they're going to probably approach
Yep.
the play, so
Yes,
I can adjust
exactly.
accordingly, or act accordingly against it. Like Eric Alfriat, I have a good idea of how he plays. I've obviously he's played and won a bazillion WPT events.
Mhm.
So I know. But by the way, you know this is his first ever WSOP main event cash. He's never cashed this thing, he said.
Okay.
Francis Anderson, I play with him a lot around town, so I know how he plays. I actually played with Fabrice Bijot last summer or 2 summers ago, one or the other. So I had a good idea of how he played. I actually played with him. I might have actually played with him both summers. I played with him in 2 different tournaments. So I had a good idea of how he played. I don't think he remembered playing with me. So that gave me some assistance there. So yeah. But we'll see how it goes. Hopefully. But what I was saying is that, like, I say I don't recognize anyone, but they could be freaking crushers for all I know. Like, they could be really fucking good. So we'll see. But yeah, I definitely recognize that there are certainly better players than me in the field, which I think it's important to recognize that, because I don't think you should go into something like this being like, I'm the best player in the field and whatever.
Mhm.
But I'm also very comfortable. Like, might I get outplayed in spots? Okay, sure. Fine. Might I get bluffed? Yeah, of course. Might I bluff some people? Yeah, of course. I mean, that's just how poker is, right? I think Daniel Negreanu said it in one of his vlogs or somewhere or whatever, but like, if you're never getting bluffed in poker, you're probably doing something wrong. Like, or if your bluffs aren't working, like, you might be doing something wrong, right? Like, you sometimes stuff's just not going to work out. So
Yeah.
Overall, I'm pretty much just at peace with how everything is going, and hopefully it just continues. Yeah, just one hand at a time. Ultimately, try and just put chips in the bag. Today was a double checkpoint day. Okay, first checkpoint, get in the money. Second checkpoint, get to the bag.
Yep.
Right. Tomorrow is just a single checkpoint day. Just get to the bag. Just try and play every single hand the best you can. Hopefully, at the end of it all, you're putting chips in the bag, and let's go from there. So yeah. So that's my day. This podcast is also brought to you by True Classic, the home of high-quality, affordable clothes for men. Shop tops, bottoms, activewear, and more at trueclassictees.com. And this year, we have partnered with True Classic for a special end-of-year event. It'll take place at the PokerGO studio, and you out there could be coming to play in it. You could win a $5,000 package. If you want to win, go to trueclassictees.com/TC PokerGo and submit your poker story today. So tell us about how you got into the game, why it's meaningful to you, your journey, all that sort of stuff. And your story could ultimately lead to you becoming one of 15 winners of a $5,000 package. And speaking of that, can you look at the chip counts? See if there is an individual named Jesse Simon who made it through. I know we lost Mike Baldwin. He won a seat via PokerGo's annual subscriber giveaway last year. He went on to cash in the WSOP main event. Jesse Simon won the PokerGo shop giveaway for a WSOP main event seat. He is still in. Looks like he's got $355K heading to day 5. So this is why you guys got to listen to us, because you could be Mike Baldwin or you could be Jesse Simon. Mike Baldwin cashed. He got like 870th or something like that, right? Very good cash for him. Great stuff. Awesome. Way to go, Mike. Jesse Simon is still in. He's still going.
Could win $10 million.
Exactly. So this is why, like, listen to us. Listen to us. This is incredible stuff, okay?
Yep.
So, all right, what else we got?
All right, we're going to wrap up some events to get out of here as quickly as we can. It is 2:17 a.m. 6 a.m. on Wednesday, 5K Turbo got to a winner. Nathaniel Stern took that down. 1,200. Nathaniel Stern.
I thought you said Daniel Stern.
No.
I was like,
no, Donnie Stern.
Donnie Stern?
No. 1,283 entries. He took home 618K for first. Yep, let's go through the next one. Justin Fawcett won the $600 Ultra Stack field. Massive. Shout out. Massive field of 7,057. He won 355K. Today, 50K high roller kicked off. Very big field. 194 entrants. 78 remaining. Masashi Oya, chip leader. But I want to tell you about a hand because I know you have no idea this happened. You're too busy
with the Japanese player Ryan Feldman. I saw it on social media.
All right, so let's run through this really quickly. Japanese player named where is it? Motoki Jino. So the board was 10-6-5-4. He had bet, and then his opponent almost made a check raised all in with pocket queens, I believe. Gino really wasn't doing anything. Looked like he hadn't acknowledged the bet. The dealer's counting down the time. Basically, all his time extensions expired. Took them all. Dealer grabbed his cards to fold, but Gino was kind of confused. Thought his opponent was tanking, not, and then he said, I had raised. Because no, he had re-raised you all in. So his hand was declared dead. Smith took the putt, and I believe he showed his, Smith had 6 queens, and Gino had pocket 6s for a flop set. So most likely would have eliminated Smith. And then he went on tilt. He started playing lots of hands. He busted Alex Foxen with Jack 6. And then he ended up busting, but that was a pretty kind of unfortunate moment for poor old Gino there in the 50K high roller. A lot of money to make that kind of mistake.
Wild stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely wild stuff.
But 78 players remaining. There is still 2 hours of late registration in that. Martin Cabral, 4th in chips. WSOP Player of the Year. Sweats are still on. Phil Sternheimer's in. Sean Deeb's in. Obviously, they're in contention for Player of the Year. Obviously, Sean is leading. But this is a big field. 2 hours of registration. This field's, I don't know.
It was 178 last year.
215.
It was 178 last year.
Yeah.
So they're already ahead of it.
215, I think.
Sure.
I don't know, maybe more. So that is the 50K update. A couple of other events kicked off around the Horseshoe, but there's no update, so don't really have too much. But there's the 3K Mid Stakes Championship. That was day 1A. 1B is on Thursday, July 10th. According to Poker News, looks like Andrew Yee, not Andrew Ye, is the chip leader, 350K. We also had the 1K Mystery Bounty PLO day 1B today. So we had day 1A yesterday, day 1B today. Day 1A, I think we touched on a little bit yesterday. But day 1B, we got Pei Lee, one of the chip leaders. We got Noel Rodriguez up there, but this is a pretty big field, 5,284 entrants, down to 792. All come back on Thursday. Mystery bounties are in effect. They have not, I don't believe, announced the bounties yet. So we could probably see at least 100K. I wonder if we get anything more than that. But that's kind of what's happened today. Starting tomorrow, late registration of the 50K, day 1B of the 3K Mid Stakes Championship, and then we have day 1A of the 777 Lucky Sevens, and we also have the 1500 PLO 6 Max. So 2 new events, 2 restarts, kicking off Thursday, July 10th, plus obviously the most important day 5 of the WSOP main event for this guy. Continuing main event trend. I'm going to quickly get to some community cards. Do you remember the gentleman we met as we were going to take our seats? I really want to say it was Andrew, but I don't think it was.
No.
We met someone. He was
right here?
Right here, yeah.
I don't remember his name.
We're bad with them. He asked for how we were. So we'll apologize. We were trying to make our way to our seat, so we were not, ready to take your name and have a chat. But thanks for stopping by. Thank you for listening. Mark Villegas, who I played with yesterday, mentioned him. He bagged like 24K. I put a hat on his chip stack, then went to play. He had 24K, so he was very short. He ended up laddering up to 1,352nd place. So that's pretty good from him. He cashed for 15K. Michael Welsh from Cincinnati, who we've been kind of talking about, 1,103rd place, 17,500. And then the man that has let me down has basically called me a liar, Justin Zaki, who was supposed to ascend the pyramid to 5th place, did not ascend the pyramid.
I saw him walking out. I said,
yeah, he finished 831st for 22.5. I'm going to screen record a video and send it to producer Rich for Tim to put here. But every time Justin Zaki had posted like a chip stack on his Instagram, I would send him what I hope he understands was a pyramid. Now, if you go to your iPhone message and you type in pyramid, there's no thing. So you have to type in triangle. There's lots of triangles, but there's a yellow triangle that looks basically like a construction sign. So I was just sending him construction signs every time he made a chip count post, and he would like it every time. I really wanted this to get all the way to the final table, but it didn't happen. He is out 831st place. And last but not least, Kevin Butler, still in. He's got 17 bigs, finished 299th last year with the hat for 45K. So he's making a run at top into, he told me he wants to beat last year's when I saw him on day one. So he is in position, 17 bigs and a dream. We will most likely get under 299 players tomorrow. So if he puts chips in a bag, he's going to accomplish that goal. So good luck to you, Kevin. Good luck to you, Donnie. It's 2:23 a.m. I think it's time to go home.
All right. Yeah. Let's wrap it up. I'm pretty pumped up, though. Making day 4. It's my 4th time playing the WSOP Main Event. It's my 4th time playing the WSOP Main Event. I made day 4. My lucky number is 4.
It's not very.
You know how many times I folded pocket 4s 4 times today, by the way, pre-flop.
I folded it once.
3 of them were under the gun. So yeah, there's that. All right, cool. He's Tim Duckworth. I'm Donnie Peters, and we'll talk to you guys next time.
See ya.